One of the greatest threats would be radioactive fallout.
Uranium fever.
Where fallout is heaviest, it can even kill those who have not taken proper shelter.
Broadcasting deep underground in a questionably constructed survivalist bunker is Dave Chaffins and Kenneth Vigue, and your host, as always, Mr. Robots. This episode of the Fallout Hub is brought to you by the Massachusetts Institute of Technology. Open enrollment for advanced robotics courses starts now. Totally nothing sketchy going on. Nope, not at all.
Go. All right, welcome back, everybody. This is the Fallout Hub. I am your host, Tom, or Robots, and we are very excited to talk to you guys today about a little thing called a patch. Well, a big thing called a patch for Fallout 76, and I'm here with my co-host, Dave Chaffins. Dave Chaffins from the internet. How are you today, sir?
I'm great. I love Fallout Boy patches. I put them on my denim jacket. I have their new CD. I'm pretty sure I'm gonna get a straightening iron for my hair and some like got to be glued gel and just like party on, you know?
Yeah, I think I'm gonna start saying welcome to Dave Chaffins instead of from the internet from 2006.
Yeah, that's pretty. Yeah, that's. I mean, that's.
That's where you live.
Is.
That's just where you are.
I live. That's where I exist.
Yeah, and also, I don't know, 2004. Any of those dates would have been good to choose from. And also, Ken, how's it going, buddy?
It's going. I had to. Sorry about that. I had to swap your names when Dave left. He became Robots, and you became Vault Boys.
Oh no!
Switch them back. Switch them back.
Well, I can pretend I can do Dave's voice, but it's going to probably sound like Danny DeVito, so maybe I shouldn't do that.
I can do Tom's voice, but it'll probably sound like a robot.
Oh,
cool. Oh, good one. So yeah, awesome start, guys. So welcome everybody to the Fallout Hub. We have a really big patch to talk about this week, and everybody's been playing it, and it's pretty freaking amazing. And thank you, Bethesda, for adding more content to this game that we all love. That is legendary. I would say this is legendary content. What do you guys think?
I see what you did there. I see what you did. You cut right through to the core of the matter.
Yeah. I was thinking about using a core pun as well, but then you beat me to it. So thanks for that one.
It's just a rain of steel.
Don't steal Tom's thunder. We're stealing Tom's
I was going to use a steel pun too. Gosh darn it. Oh, I thought we were a brotherhood.
Oh.
Oh.
You lift us up just like Atlas.
So guys, let's just get into it. What have you been doing in Fallout 76 this last week since we've had all of this new content? And who wants to go first?
Do you want me to, I can go first.
Go first,
So
Dave.
originally, I haven't. I'm part of the Xbox community now, aka I just started a new character, and so I thought I could level up. I was like, okay, I'm just gonna like level up enough to go like do this new content,
Mhm.
and it turns out that I am like a slowpoke for that. And things are a lot more balanced, and there's a lot more different stuff going on. And then I just found myself really enjoying old content. So I was like, I still want to play this, and I just want to get right into it. So I moved over to the PlayStation and got my, I guess, what is he, level like 230? That's the original character I had, and just Brotherhood to the Steel it onto there, and just blew through some content on for all the new story stuff. I played around with legendary cores a little bit, and I I looked at Minerva's stuff too. And I wonder if we should just start calling her Tint the Din because of Minerva's Den.
The what? Oh, dude,
Minerva's
Lord.
Den.
Bioshock.
I get you.
I
got you.
That's a good one.
No.
I see what you did there as well. You know what I did? I loaded into the game. The first time I could load into the game, my wife is already playing. I've gotten my wife thoroughly hooked now on Fallout 76 because I thought it would happen. She loves Fallout. She's got more of these Fallout figurines over on her side of this office than I do on my side of the office. And she just never really got hooked. And then she got hooked into the game. She's now I don't know, pretty high level. She's collecting all the things. She likes to say, I like to put them in my pockies. She picks up all the things, puts them in her pockies. And she's built this really awesome looking camp with all these goodies in it. So I load it. She's already in. I load into her world, and guess who can't put their camp down? This guy. So I go to her camp, and there's a hot tub there, and I know now that you can share the hot tub. So I hop in the hot tub, and I'm like, hey, you want to join me in the hot tub? And she's like, sorry, I'm busy. What's that?
Wow.
What's that, wife?
Wow. She was like, you were sidelined. I'm busy.
I Night Shin is making me do stuff. And I was like, screw Night Shin. Come join me in the hot tub. And she's like, nope, I'm busy. I gotta fill my pockies. And I was like, all right.
Are you saying that she's
my experience.
simping for Shin?
Well, I mean, yeah, she just likes to do stuff, like complete missions.
I mean, Night Shin is Brotherhood of Steel, and it seems like that you, sir, are rusted.
Oh. Yeah. So my whole situation is that I moved over to my Mechanist character after the whole, Mechanist fiasco thing that we went through earlier this year. And my son, what a time. Oh, what a good time to the beginning of the year. It genuinely was a lot of fun. But I made a second character, and then I subscribed to Fallout First on that second character. So that's now my main character. My other character, I'm letting my son play. So Kirby Chew plays Robots Radio. So if you see Robots Radio online, that's my son. If you see Mechanist TV online, that's me. And so he was already like 100 and something level, right, on that character. And then I had to restart with the Mechanist, which I'm just got back up to like 98. I'm almost 100 on him. But that meant that I had to go replay all the Brotherhood stuff in order to get ready for the patch. So that I had kind of this like binge day where I woke up early in the morning and I just played through all the Brotherhood quests to get ready for the patch right before the patch dropped.
That's awesome.
Which was cool. Like, it was cool to go through that stuff again. And, the whole conflict and all that stuff. I don't know that we want to spoil anything for anybody who hasn't done all that stuff.
Because I haven't done any of it.
But it's good. So I guess we won't spoil things for Ken. But it's good stuff. So yeah. And getting to the end of that storyline, I think is a lot of people were like, this is fine. And then the new stuff comes out and they're like, oh, I get it now. Like, I'm getting that vibe from the community, right? Because this was all written as like one thing, but we only got the first half of it. And they were like, and now we're getting the whole story. And the first half is, and I don't think this is too much of a spoiler, but thematically is the fundamental split in the Brotherhood. I mean, if you just look at Fallout 3 and Fallout 4 and the way the Brotherhood is managed by different leaders, you have the leaders that are more inclusive and the leaders that are not, right?
Yeah, literally personified in Shin and Romani. Yep.
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely personified by those two sides. And those two sides, if they have people who are of those two sides in the same group of the Brotherhood who are now isolated from everybody else, are going to butt heads because they're going to, know that we're, the more conservative side and the more like, oh no, we need to drop what we've been doing traditionally. We need to change with the times and the situation, and we need to go this other direction, right? And this is like a fundamental like world issue, right? Like what society doesn't have those two sides butting head in politics right now anyway? And we're seeing that play out in the Brotherhood, which is really cool. And then we have this continuation of that story, which takes that story further. Again, no spoilers.
I have a question, like for the both
really
of you,
cool.
Along those lines, do you think, because to Tom's point, do you think it was good to split up the story like that? Or do you think it would have been better to wait, even if it took this long, and drop them both as one? Or do you think the community would have gotten too antsy?
I think it would have been too much time. Usually I'm all for go with the plan, get the plan fully baked and put it out. But the fact that it wasn't functionality that they were waiting for, it was story that they were waiting for. I think that works out okay. The one complaint is like, oh good, we get another 3 or 4 hours of content. What do I do after that? And it's like, well, you do all the other things, like you make friends, you grind for cores, like there's lots of other stuff to do in the game. And I think the other thing that I think a lot of people forget is that no game is going to take, like, if you're the kind of gamer who can play a game for 6 to 8 hours every day, there's no game out there that's going to satisfy that. No. You're eventually going to run out of content.
It would bankrupt a company trying to give you the amount of content for you to slowly digest through.
Absolutely. And so every time I read on a forum, like, we need more in-game content, it's like, well, yeah, and more in-game content would be nice, but maybe play a different game on occasion, because like you can't just grind the same game over and over and over and only play one game forever. Like there's no way you can do that. Particularly
because we still have such a big subset of people who want this to be Fallout 5, and it will never be Fallout 5. It's a different fantastic social game. If you don't want to be social, you can still play it single player and, get into lore and quests and all of that. But you're still missing out on the kind of an experience that would keep you coming back, because there just isn't enough there to keep you playing it constantly.
Right. I also want to clear up one other issue before I let Dave speak, because I know Dave's got a lot to say. One other thing I hear a lot in the community is, I don't want Fallout 76 to do well because it's keeping Fallout 5 from coming out.
Oh, that's
I also hear the community say this about ESO. Right. I don't want ESO to do well because it's keeping Elder Scrolls 6 from coming out. Yeah. That is absolutely not the case. The success of these games as service versions of these worlds are not delaying the play, like the creation of these other games. If Bethesda could launch Fallout 5 tomorrow, they probably would, because a lot of people are going to buy it and they're going to play it. Fallout 76 and Fallout 5 are two very different things. They just happen in the same universe. ESO and the Elder Scrolls 6 are going to be two very different things. And just because ESO is doing well doesn't mean that it's going to delay Elder Scrolls 6. They're two different teams. They're two different groups working on these things, and one does not delay the other. If anything, it's extra content that if we enjoy those universes, we get to be able to enjoy while waiting for the next mainline solo player game. So I want the community to just take that idea in their heads and just throw it away, because it is not delaying those games from happening.
How about we normalize not wanting something to fail because we personally do not like it? That is such a stupid way of thinking.
Right.
It makes no sense, because clearly a lot of people do enjoy it. So if it's not your thing, go play something else for a little bit. It's fine. It's not a big deal.
Yeah. Yep. All right, Dave, go.
Dave has the floor.
Where am I going? So I think the question was, do I want this stuff like teased out like into the divisions, or do I want it at once? I feel like that for what this was, it's good to have it in those divisions. Because like a game like Destiny is like probably one of the most popular like seasonal games, and they tell a story, but it's over time. So it's like now it's like for this season, it's a story about this thing that connects to these other plot lines, and it's like not that much story content. It's not like this like huge thing, but they're like kind of bringing people back in for a little bit of new content. And so like I play that casually.
Yeah, and it's the same size as this content. It's like 3 to 4 hours of more stuff.
Right. So I come back in and I play it, and then I'm like, okay, that was fun. And I'm like, that's a fun game. I like playing that game. And sometimes I feel like, I'll go and explore and do a little thing. But I'm not like I've never been a big like grinder for like I gotta get the special weapon. I have to get the special weapon.
Yeah, I don't care about that either.
Right. So for this, I think it makes sense. I think that people that are casual that aren't doing the social aspects of the game, I think that this actually makes more sense because it gets you to keep that on your system there as like hey, this is an option that I have to play. There's a bunch of other stuff to play, of course, but this is something that I have. And if I just keep on getting like the best part about all this is it's free. That's one of the best things about this like current, I guess, generation of live experiences is a lot of this stuff is free. And so being able to get that and get it for free, I mean, there's nothing wrong even from like a casual experience of saying, hey, you know what, if I get a 4-hour Fallout experience every like 3 to 6 months, like that sounds great. I think though that the bigger releases like Wastelanders changed so much in the game, like it almost was like a remix for Fallout content. And so it was like a second exploration of the map. It was almost like we got a new Fallout game. So like when Fallout 76 came out, that was a new Fallout game. You got to go and explore, and just like that, it had the same, for me, it had the same things that like Fallout 5 would have, where it's like I get to go explore and learn all this stuff, and it's like this big world, and I don't know what's in it. The Wastelanders remixed it enough so that I still had that feeling for some of the locations. Some of them were unchanged, but it kept me on guard enough to say, okay, I'm looking for this stuff. I'm going through this stuff. But I don't know if they're going to do many more of the remixes. I keep on calling them remixes, like I'm some sort of like Kingdom Hearts subtitle generator.
I thought you were like a
remix.
I mean, based on the content calendar that they've released so far, it doesn't look like we have anything that huge and overhauling coming anytime soon. Expeditions, I think, will just give us a new map to explore. And the only new reveal that they dropped was in an article that Jeff Gardner was quoted about. The extension of the pit is repeatable. So it encourages you to travel back to that location multiple times. And they did say that this is a lot more grandiose than a daily. So I'm curious to see what that means, and that you should repeat it.
Yeah, I am curious about that. I don't think, and don't take what I said wrong. I don't think that they need to remix it all the time. I mean, that would be great if every year there's just like a big thing like that. I don't think that they need that. I think that they just have to put some content into it, kind of at the level of this like Brotherhood of Steel stuff. Like, I think that's the perfect amount for what it is, and then do these like this slow quality of life stuff that they've done over time, like adding in the legendary cores and putting in Minerva and that kind of stuff. Like generating that level of content consistently, I think, is something to be said about a live service game that is functioning very well.
Yeah, just that update alone, Fallout 76 jumped 10 places on the Xbox Game Pass playing list. So it jumped up to, I think the spot was 24 or 26, something like that. And Steam, it picked up quite a lot of new people or existing people coming back to the game. So it did definitely, I know that just because the legendary core is dropping, I haven't seen events this busy since Wastelanders. Like even Arctos Pharma, which is historically dead, nobody goes there anymore. It was like an entire server in Arctos grinding it to get the cores, which was that was kind of cool this last weekend.
Yeah.
Have you all rolled the dice with that yet?
Yes.
I've done a little bit of stuff, but not a ton on grinding that stuff out yet.
I'm terrified just of that process. I'm just terrified because it's like, what if I screw it up? Because if I have something good and I want something great, I've got to like risk the biscuit, you know? I've got to like get in there and start risking biscuits.
I mean, you could just build a new, like if you can craft an item, you could just craft an item and then roll for 3 legendaries.
Yeah, that's what I did.
Yeah, you don't have to mess up a previous item that you have, and especially because it might, like you're saying, it might wipe some of the other legendaries that you like. No need to break something you already like to try to get something a little bit better.
But there are like what do you like particular items? Like there are like some particular weapons that there's only one of a kind of these.
Yes.
Unless you buy them.
Yep.
And so that is like ideal is to re-roll those with the I guess at that point it would be like almost like a cosmetic a non-microtransaction cosmetic that you have on it, but to re-roll those like I'm thinking about the submachine gun that you get from Ward during the Wastelander stuff. That looks really cool. But like if I wanted to go re-roll that, then I would be getting the biscuits out to risk them, you know?
Yes. Yeah, I wouldn't worry too much about the aesthetic of a thing. I would just make a different SMG. Unless there's some sort of base damage modifier, that version doesn't get changed when you roll the red legendary. So for example, if you have an SMG that does 66 damage and this one does 70, plus you could add all the legendaries, then maybe there's a benefit in risking those biscuits.
Yeah, like to Tom's point, just sometimes crafting stuff and then rolling it does work well. The first, I finally crafted a Secret Service jetpack, which I was happy about. And the very first roll, I ended up getting a bolstering variant that had almost everything I wanted. And I thought, well, this is great. And it's just like Vegas. That's how they get you in. They sucker you in. I pulled that lever and I got like Ghoul Slayers or it was some crappy. I'm trying to get all Aristocrats armor for obvious reasons. I have 2 pieces now, which I'm happy about.
Nice.
I will say that they did an increase of some of the legendary effects. So like normally it was like 30% extra damage for Scorched, and now it's 50%. That increase for if you were like a low level player and you're just like picking up like I love that like 1 to 50 experience where you're really just like you don't have a favorite gun, you're just like picking up stuff as you go, and it's just like I'm a big trash compactor and I'm gonna spit trash out at you. Like finding a legendary that may not be like your cup of tea. Like if you get like a hunter's rifle, like you're gonna find some benefit to that because it gives you just a little bit of edge in those times. But once you're over 50, like that kind of system goes away, and then you're just stuck in some of these places in DLC's areas where you have like a level 100 boss enemy, and you're like, oh no, what am I gonna do?
Yeah, that leveling process to 50 is the most regularly difficult part of the game.
Yeah.
Because you're taking on enemies that are balanced for you, but you also don't have a build that you've refined and like a favorite good weapon. And then you're out leveling weapons, or you're finding new stuff, and you're going, okay, well, I'll swap out the perk cards that I do have and use this other thing temporarily. So you're right, having something that does, hey, way more damage to robots, and you happen to be doing a part of the quest where you're fighting a bunch of robots, it's worth equipping that temporarily in order to kill the robots, which is kind of cool. There's something that's fun about that.
Yeah, I think that 1 to 50 range is probably the sweet spot for the game for me. Like that whole process of like going through and understanding like what guns are, and like sometimes like it's crazy, like I'm building like a submachine gun build on this character, but sometimes it's just I have a shotgun. I don't use shotguns ever, and like my main like PlayStation character that I have, it's like I don't use those ever because it's absolutely pointless for me too. But sometimes I'm out of rifle ammo for the 3 rifles that I have, and I've been collecting all this gosh darn shotgun ammo from all these gosh darn squirts that are carrying around shotguns with their heads all twisted. And so maybe I want to use that, and then I use that, and
That's
it's
all
actually doing damage because of the leveling that's there.
Yeah. Okay, so let's talk shotguns. My mechanist character, I was like,
I'll
I'm
get
gonna
my
make
beer. I'll get my beer.
I was all right. So my mechanist character, I built as originally a shotgun build, and then I converted him to a melee build. But the shotgun build I thought was going to be awesome because I was like, I'm just going to get right in close. I'm just going to blow things heads off. I'm going to use VATS and get like bonus damage to heads, so I can just like 1 or 2 shot most things in the head. Right. I got an explosive shotgun, a 2-shot explosive shotgun. I was like, okay, this is going to be great. Turns out that because of server delay, you actually, the first shot sometimes doesn't register or doesn't register fast enough for them to then get a swing on you.
Yes.
So that was like kind of I don't know, a bummer. Like I was like, because sometimes and especially with like bloody mess and all that, like you get him a shot in there, you get a second shot in there, and then things just like pop all over the place. You're just popping everybody by shooting them in the head. But if the server delay is high, it doesn't happen fast enough. Like you can get maybe 3 shots on somebody before all of a sudden it registers. And that was a problem. I haven't noticed that kind of delay though with melee weapons, and I don't know why it would apply a delay more to the shotgun than to a melee weapon if they're both in very short range from each other. Maybe it's calculating the projectile of the bullets, whereas a melee is like you're hitting or you're not. I don't know. I don't know what the deal is with that. But that's my story about shotguns. I wish I could make a legitimate shotgun build.
Yeah, I think that the way that the shotguns shoot out, like when you're looking at like it's tracking each individual projectile, and so
Right.
like you can see if you turn on your damage numbers where your projectiles hit. And I
Right.
feel like that may be an extra strain as opposed to like they're tracking projectiles from like a rifle or a minigun or a pistol, whatever. But those are all in the same trajectory, like they're all firing at the same little hole.
And they're
This
coming one
it's-
at a time. You're even in something that shoots
Right.
quickly, like a minigun, is going do 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 do, rather than here's like 9 pieces all at once.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
And that's the sound it makes too. I want a shotgun that makes that sound. No, not do do do, just like a sound.
Mm-hmm. I've done I think I've done every build in the game except for this new character, which is the submachine gun build, which I've never seen anyone do a submachine gun build and just like be like, you know what, automatic pistols, baby, that's where it's at, as opposed to the much superior rifles.
Let's go.
And miniguns.
Yeah, okay, so let's talk balance here. Does anybody have a legit like, I don't know, pistol, minigun, or shotgun build? Because I feel that like I either have to double down on melee or I have to go rifles and miniguns. I don't feel like there's like this middle ground, and I want there to be a middle ground. I want there to be, like, because sometimes you get really good items. Sometimes you roll your legendaries, or you go visit Mama Murmur, and you get like, hey, this is a really cool SMG with some really cool stats on it. But like, is it worth that? I mean, or are those types of weapons just like garbage? Those are just no go?
I don't think they're garbage. I know that the original meta in the early days was the TSE shotgun. And then, of course, they nerfed that and adjusted it. Before the One Wasteland update, the Gauss shotgun that they dropped was almost as good as the TSE shotgun used to be before the rebalancing. Like, a lot of people started rocking shotgun builds again because of that. So you can still do great damage with a proper shotgun build now. It's just not, as overpowered as Blood Eater Junkies is.
Yeah. What about like machine guns? What about like like submachine guns?
Okay.
Or pistols?
So, like,
what about like really cool pistols?
Yeah, I have looked into the pistols. I'm unsure, but the automatic pistols, there are some perks that essentially you kind of have to spec out your agility tree. And normally with rifles, you're looking into using your agility tree to increase your AP refresh, to get stealth points, to get those multipliers going. With that, you kind of with a I guess an automatic build, you kind of open up a bunch of stuff, so you don't really need that many points in perception to fully utilize that. But your agility points are used, so you're not thinking about stealth as much. Like you can
Mhm.
still like get, it's still usable to get stealth, and to get that 2 times multiplier for some of the different shots. But you're really looking at your luck, and building criticals.
But what about the weapon
But
side of it? Like I get that there's perk cards that all work for these things, but are there weapons that are good enough to make that worth it?
So my game plan is to wait and save there's this quest called Cold Case, which is one of the original quests for the base game, where you go up north and you go to the theme park and you got to find this like little boy, in
Mhm.
this like maid and
Yeah,
Mr.
yeah.
Handy situation. Yeah, so you get a reward for that called Perfect Storm, which is a 2mm SMG that does burn damage.
Yeah, that's a cool one.
And no
Mhm.
other weapon utilizes burn damage. So my game plan is to say, okay, I'm going to I've lost my train of thought. I'm gonna like wait till I'm level 50 and then go up there, get the level 50 variant of it, and
Yep.
then see, like, that could be a unique experience for that gun, for like a submachine gun build in general, because nobody else is using that. Like
Right.
nobody else is. That's
Right.
not gonna be the like, it's not gonna be the greatest thing. Like still, if you got like a, like a junkie's, what do you call it, like a Gauss Gatling gun.
Goss
You know what I mean?
Gatling gun.
Gatling gun.
Gatling gun.
Like that's still gonna wreck shop if you got that perked out. Like that's still gonna, like, that's
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
a bulldozer for like gotta solve some dirt problem.
Right. So you know what I want? I want somebody to, and maybe I'll
Tell
have
us what
to
you want.
devote
What you
some
really,
time.
really want.
What here's what I want. What I really, really want. I want somebody, and maybe I'll have to do this, to do two things. I want somebody to test out like viable builds that are unlikely with different weapon types. So I want to see like, okay, what is a good bloodied 2-shot explosive whatever build with that, that fire SMG, or even just standard SMGs that you can make, or whatever, and then compare the DPS to what if you used a handmade rifle with a very similar kind of setup. What if you used a 5mm minigun? What if you used a Gauss rifle? Like each of these things. Like I want to see the differences there. And then the other thing that I want is a tier list. Like I want, these are S tier weapons, these are A tier weapons, these are B tier weapons, these are C tier weapons. And get a sense of like, really, if you're going to spend the time building out, grinding for legendary cores, or going to Mama Merg and just kind of, seeing what stuff you get. These are the ones that if you get them, you should hold on to them, because even if you don't have the perk cards yet, you could turn this into something good.
Right.
That's what I want. What I really, really want.
What I want is just like it all to be balanced.
Yeah, but this is
Zigga-zigga.
the first step. This is the first step towards balancing that, because if Bethesda isn't internally doing that kind of testing, then the community can. And then to have that sense of like, okay, these C tier weapons need to get some buffs, or need to have some perks that can allow them to be more viable. Like there needs to be some sort of adjustment there to move those up. Or like you're saying, like the Gauss shotgun was a little OP. Like the stuff at the very boundaries of those things are usually pretty obvious. Like this is an S++ tier weapon and everybody knows it, so let's nerf it a little bit,
Right.
But like this weapon's a D. Like, yeah, it makes sense that like, some of the pipe guns are not going to ever be great. That's fine, but like
there's some weapons that desperately need a buff of some kind that everybody's asking for. The Ripper and the chainsaw.
Yeah.
People ask for that to like be a viable something all the time. Or even the drill. The drill is just a hilarious weapon, but you can't really do anything. Like I want a legendary drill. I want to role play as Tim the Toolman Taylor in his post-apocalyptic life.
Right. Or another thing you could do is you could have, a base weapon like a wrench or a bat, but then you could have like rare or hard to get modifications to that weapon that make it as deadly as a sword or a plasma cutter. You know, like why not create variations that take those low level weapons and give them the ability to be something really good if you can find the modifications for that.
Like an auto bat, a bunch of bats strapped onto a chainsaw.
What? It's just like blah 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 blah.
Exactly. that would be terrifying.
You've heard of pitching machines. Now get a batting machine.
Beware the auto bat.
Oh man. Oh, that's weird.
I mean,
it's super weird.
I mean, I don't understand why the best weapon in the game is not the guitar sword, because you've taken two really cool things and then mashed them together. That has to be the best weapon.
Like, what if you could be like, okay, this is an electric guitar sword, and now it does like shocking damage, you know, or like that would be cool, you know, like, but like let's give modifications to those weapons that make them viable, because you're right. I want to run around using whatever. Like maybe you know what I really enjoy is the sound of hitting somebody with a shovel. That
is such a satisfying noise. Yeah.
Yeah, it makes a pong, or the death tambo, the ka-chink, ka-chink. Like, why not get a modification that adds like plasma beams to the outside of the death tambo? So now you're like, chink.
This has become a mouth noises episode of the show.
Yeah. I'm just like Wes Johnson. I do a class on voice acting, but it's not voice acting, it's mouth noises. If anybody would like to sign up, $500 an hour, let me know.
Wow.
Dave's got nothing.
Yeah, I don't have anything for that. Where are we even going? Oh, let me go back. So there, okay.
What do you want? What do you really want, Dave?
We're talking about weapons. Let me mark this occasion, because I'm the one getting us back on track. Mark this occasion. Put this in the books and write it down. There is a Fallout 4 mod that I forgot, it's like wacky weapons or something like that, and essentially what it does is you're able to interchange parts of different weapons. So it's like, oh, I want this, but I want like this like crazy barrel on the end of it, or oh, I want this, but I want, you know, it to be this part to be replaced with another part. Like if they could make a Fallout game where that could actually work, and that could actually like if that could work in 76, like that would be so cool. And that would fit with the aesthetic of like, this is post-apocalyptic. We're using a bunch of junk to just like reassemble things. Like there's no point in, like, it's kind of silly that there are these, you know, I mean, this is like the most pretentious thing I'll say. It's kind of silly that there's all these like fully working weapons, like still just running about, and everything's not like pipe pistols and like these like ragtag things put together, because, you know, guns get dirty. And if you store your ammunition in a correct, I'm just kidding. I don't know.
Okay, hear me out. So we know that aliens are coming back this year, right? Mm-hmm. It's aliens. So what else does Appalachia have a lot of?
Oh, for podcast listeners, Tom has just lifted all of his hair up and put his headphones around his cheeks, and then did the little aliens history man.
It's aliens.
And
I'm trying to do the aliens guy. My hair's not big enough. I need to get bigger.
You need about bigger hair. 24 dozen
higher the hair closer to God, Tom.
So we've got aliens coming back to the game.
Uh-huh.
Yes.
What else does
Dave
Appalachia have a lot
of? Squirrels.
Losers. I'm just kidding.
No.
Radiation.
Recreation and amusement parks. So we have both a carnival and we have a proper amusement park. What happens when aliens end up in an amusement park? You get killer clowns from outer space.
Oh no.
I want a weapon that turns people into popcorn and cotton candy, and then, like a cannibal, you can drink their essence with a silly straw.
Wonderful.
And if you've never seen that movie, you should, because it's hilarious.
That sounds ridiculous.
and I do think, you know, going off that, I think
Dave's going to pretend that the last couple minutes just didn't happen.
No. I think there's comedic timing and like eating things you just killed. And so, like, for example, in the game, if you like kill an enemy that you've been like, oh no, we killed this person. Oh, I feel so bad about this. That was my brother. And then you're just like,
Nom, nom, nom. Yeah, I felt that
just,
way when
like,
we
immediately after it.
my wife's been growing some plants in the backyard, and we cultivated some of them and had some salad, and it was hilarious.
I keep coming back to the conversation we had with Nate when he talked about one of the early concepts with cannibal is if you keep eating people, you turn into a Wendigo. Like,
Yeah.
that would have been badass.
Yeah.
Well, that's my like put this on like the I keep on saying put this in like the high hopes for a Fallout game, but like if you can make yourself into a ghoul or like a super mutant, I think that's what
Yes.
everybody would want. I think there would be nobody that would be like,
Yes.
no, I don't want that. Like everyone would want that.
My want has always been a character creation that allows you to choose different races.
Like Skyrim.
Like in Skyrim. You know, like I want to be a human, I want to be a ghoul, I want to be a super mutant, I want to be a robot. Even just starting with those 4 would be like really cool. And then you give people different bonuses to certain stats because of what you chose. Like a super mutant can't have above a certain level of intelligence, or like a ghoul has natural radiation resistance, like that kind of stuff.
I mean, maybe in Fallout 77,
You heard it here, folks. Fallout 77 just revealed. Dave was under NDA, but it slipped, and now that this is live on the internet, we can't take it back. Sorry,
Wow.
NVIDIA.
You are going to get a
NVIDIA
world
premiere. What the heck? It came from NVIDIA. Like this was a leak through a leak. So I have another question, guys. What about armor? Because we've been talking weapons. I'm still not 100% sure about what perks I really want on my armor. What legendary perks? Like, is it better to go with +1 endurance or like extra resistance when you have low health? Like that kind of stuff. Like, do you find yourselves like rolling stuff for armor and being like, which of these is really better?
I think you can find some really good guys out there that tell you what armor sets to rock to go along with that. I know with my bloodied melee, I've been rocking unyielding for quite a while now, but I'm curious because I always have a bunch of caps. I want to try out the aristocrats, which gives you a ridiculous bonus to damage, and I'm curious to see what a full set of that, how that will compare to unyielding.
Yeah, and like as a melee build, I'm mostly concerned with mitigating damage. So
if you're doing bloodied, then unyielding is always a good option. If you're not, and here's the thing, I'm a neurotic person sometimes, and so like if there's like 24 bullets in the sleeve and I fire 1 and I have 23, I will reload to give myself 24 bullets again because I'm so broken in the head. And so I'm the same way with health, that I will like stim pack myself a full stim pack even if I just got a little bit of that. And that's why I use vanguards, is because that is like it's like feeding my flaw, I guess. And so I use vanguards because that is like extra resistance if you're at high health.
Get
So
Dave
as long
Chafin's
as I'm at high
audiobook,
health-
Feeding the Flaw, coming to Amazon Books
Feeding the flaw.
on Audible this fall. That's a great book title.
Yeah, and then you're gonna have some white dude somewhere that's like, you gotta read Dave's autobiography, and people are like, oh, I heard he's funny. No, listen, change my life.
Dave sees me, man. He sees me.
Sees me. Ugh. Whoa. So I would recommend vanguards.
Yeah. See, I
Vanguard.
don't usually go bloodied. Like I want something that's a little bit more versatile than that. So that's why I'm wondering
you
if
said
like
that you were like,
I want something a little more versatile than bloodied. I don't do like the plebeians and the bloodied builds. I want something that will balance a little bit more for all the encounters. Yeah, that's why I'm wondering about like, is +1 endurance, like how much does that actually help you survive in a situation where your health, like let's say you're not a bloodied build, but you're running in there with a melee weapon, you're hacking somebody up, right? And so you have pieces of your armor that are like, hey, I got more resistances as long as you're above 75%. But then, of course, your health goes below 75%. So is it better to have endurance that works across the board, or, you know, something that keeps you more, you know, protected at high, and then some other parts that keep you more protected at low health, and kind of balance that out? Like it's the nuance of those things that I'm most curious about.
Yeah, I feel you there. Of like, it's easy, I think, to get to a point where you, if you're not bloody, that you don't, like, you rarely die. If you have enough, if you can carry around like 60 stim packs at once, then
Oh yeah,
you're not.
yeah.
As long as you're a little bit diligent, you're not going to die. But as far as like improving your damage, other than where they took away the strength from, did they take away strength from unyielding? Or they took away endurance.
Mm-mm.
That's what I
Yeah.
mean. They took away endurance from
Yeah.
unyielding.
Yeah.
Where they did that, then that became a thing of, oh yeah, the like points in endurance matter, so that I can wear this armor and still get, you know, like 10 or 15 more points
Right.
of health.
Right.
Even though that's
Hey!
not that much, that does count.
You know what? You just reminded me of something else I really, really, really want. A
What's that?
zig ha. No, you know what this game doesn't have that many shooters have is a around the borders of the screen effect for when your health dips below a certain percentage.
Oh.
You know what I'm saying? Like
I
if you
think-
play almost any other shooter, your health gets below like 20% or something, and all of a sudden the screen turns red, and like there's this, like you don't have to look at the health bar to know that your health is low. You just like boom, or things lose color or something. You get the strawberry jam going on,
And
so
then
you
you
know
die,
like,
and it's
okay,
like,
now's the time to hit
Snake!
now's the time to hit the stim pack button. You know, like we don't have that in this game, and that's it took me a long time while playing the competitive mode, whatever that's called, winter, whatever. What is that? Nuclear winter.
Nuclear.
Words are hard sometimes, guys. But that's why I realized that I was getting killed, is because I didn't have in the heat of battle, I didn't have a natural thing that I usually rely on in order to know when I need to get behind cover or heal, because I didn't have that happening on the screen. So I would be putting myself in situations where I was low health and I didn't realize it.
Yeah, so when your health gets low, you want to get down with the red thickness.
That's right. Right. Get down
Here's
with the
an
red
alternative.
thickness. That was my name in high school. My nickname.
But that was,
Oh.
I'm sure there's an interesting story behind that, but let's move right on to Dave.
Yeah, here's an alternative to that. Just use your peripheral vision. You're a human. Use your peripheral vision. Be tracking
No, but my
things at
screen's
all
really
times.
big. I've got a real big screen,
Like,
guys.
you don't have to be a
I sit, like,
Terminator to do that.
This close to my screen when I play.
Well, Tom, then that's your own fault. You got to use your peripherals. You got to be like you're in marching band, and you got to play your trumpet and march down the line at the same time, and make sure you're in line with us. See, my marching band people know this one time in band camp. Like, you've got to be like right in line with those people. So you've got to be not only looking where you're going, you've also got to be looking where the other people are, and then you've got to be playing your trumpet too. Like, it's a whole process. And
I think you just
here's what I would
discovered
recommend.
the way to do a Jack Black impression without doing the voice.
Yeah. Yeah, that's exactly it. That's Jack Black.
Yeah, that's it right there.
Now,
I do.
Nobody listening on the
my
audio
wife
version of this is
recommends-
going to get the joke at
He
all.
does Danny DeVito and
No,
Oh, I
Jack
just
Black.
snorted. That was awesome. Sorry, go
No,
on.
but I do have a new character. I have a new character
Oh,
on
dear.
recommendation of my wife when I told her about Danny DeVito. I have a new character. At some point, he may come. That's just a tease.
Now we have to hear it. Now, like, you can't
Well,
do- you
okay.
can't
Well, it's
tease
got to be on topic. Got to be on topic about something.
What's
okay.
the topic?
Okay.
What's the topic? We can just talk about a topic.
Hi there, Tom. It's me, Jason Statham. Let me tell you something. When I'm shooting the baddies, when I'm down there, I'm going through them. I don't need any red sludge on my screen. I don't need the red sludge. I know exactly what I'm doing. I've got my Kevlar. I've got my submachine guns. I'm going to shoot them right in the face because it's me, Jason Statham. It's good to be here.
Well, Jason Statham has the
I have
.40
excellent-
Desert Eagle. You know, like, we can't compete with that.
Okay, and scene. Jason Statham got a job working at Taxi.
It's me, Jason Statham. I'm driving a taxi now.
I'm Danny DeVito.
We're gonna go. Johnny, get in the car, Johnny.
This is like improv now.
All right, can you do Danny DeVito doing Jason Statham?
I think you're gonna break Dave. Dave's gonna start malfunctioning.
His face just malfunctioned.
It's me, Jason Statham.
Oh no!
Doing Danny DeVito. It's good to be here today.
No, it was Danny DeVito doing Jason Statham. That's different.
Oh, it's me, Danny DeVito. I'm gonna shoot them with my guns, man. Yeah, it's just I don't know how to do a British accent with this.
Okay. It's
I did.
We're good. Yeah, that was wonderful.
There we
What was
go. That's
Christopher
good
Lloyd's
enough
character?
topic.
What was his? Oh,
What
the hell was?
I don't remember his name.
Jason, you left your keys in the back of the car.
Yeah. That's pretty good.
I mean, this is the content that people come for. Like, this is the real. I mean, listen,
is
you're
all
like
Fallout
48 minutes into this situation. Like, you are down here with us. You're in the pit. Like, you are in the thick of it. Like, forget Night Shin, forget Paladin Raimi. Like, you're down here in
the red thickness.
absolute bottom of the red sludge of a thickness that Tom wants to see. This is the sludgy thickness that he wants to see.
That was my girlfriend's nickname in college. Oh my god.
No.
Why don't we get back into topic here? My topic right now is I'm just looking at our Apple Podcast thing. We've got 32 reviews. Why don't we have more reviews? Why don't you guys drop us some reviews? Especially the most recent one is like from almost a year ago. Hey friends, can you drop us some Apple Podcast reviews? Specifically, I want 5-star reviews about Danny DeVito. I want to read 3 of those on our next episode out to everybody. That would be awesome.
Listen, friends, we just did a banger. We just did a banger of a segment. Like, we really knocked out this. Like, we brought in improv skills to this, and we really knocked out really a good 4/5 of an episode. And we're coming to the end, and we bring out that level of content for you. At this point, like, we would really appreciate a 5-star review. Now, I'm not trying to say that we deserve it, but I feel like we're something close. I feel like
I don't know that Wayne
Brady.
Brady could have done a better impression than what we just did.
No.
I don't think so. I don't think so. And I mean, that's a high mark. Wayne Brady is one talented, handsome son of a bitch.
And don't forget, I made a deal. I made a deal with all of you that I would sing if you wrote a review, and you put it on iTunes, which is, it's like stupid that we have to go to iTunes and write the reviews, but that's how it is. I don't use iTunes for anything except writing podcast reviews, and you can too. But here's the thing: if you write a review on the site, and at the end of the episode, I will sing back the review with a famous Fallout tune into that style, like we're doing really terrible karaoke, and the guys will have to guess it. And I'm pretty sure that I will encourage the other guys as well to do in the game like I have done. So there.
So okay, so can we get back on track? Is there anything else that we want to talk about when it comes to this update?
I had a few really cool things. For one thing, Minerva. People were trying really hard to figure out where she was, when she was, if she was. Kev DeWitt created a really awesome one-pager that tracks her location. So on any given day, you can hop on his website and take a look. It'll tell you where she is located and how much longer she's going to be there. That was a really cool thing.
Is there a formula for this?
There is.
How does he know?
From the data.
How does he know? Is he a wizard? Kev DeWitt.
Kev DeWitt is a Kev.
Are you a wizard?
Kev Wizard.
Kev DeWitt.
You're a wizard. Kev DeWitt. Let me
Um,
do my hair. Let me do my Hagrid now.
You're a wizard, Kev DeWitt.
Yes. So so you can go to all these different places and find her and the stuff that is on sale. So that's cool. That's cool.
Also, events that you really want to grind. Another really cool thing that someone created, and I'm not sure if it was Legendary Dumpling Head who created it or she was just sharing it.
Great name, by the way.
There's a really helpful list if you're really looking to grind cores. The top few events that you really want to go for is Free Range, where it'll drop 1 to 8 depending on surviving Brahmin. Another really great one is Project Paradise, also 1 to 8 based on surviving creatures. Scorched Earth will give you 5, and then everything else, with the exception of Colossal Problem, will drop 1 to 3. Colossal Problem drops a guaranteed 8.
Nice.
So if you're looking to grind cores, anytime those events pop up, go for them.
Do it. Do it. Oh, Scullyface is going to go write us a review. Awesome. Thank you,
Thank you,
Scullyface.
Scully.
Scullyface,
Nice. That's nice.
you have the best of all faces. Just wanted to put that out there.
The last thing was some changes that we had to the Atomic Shop, and I have a scoop on one of them.
Oh, give me
on.
that scoop. I heard all this grinded. Now I want some scoops. You know.
I want a double scoop.
So the Atomic Shop update gave us both additional build slots. So now you can perk your character out even more if you want to buy additional perk slots. You can also buy additional camp slots. We can now have a total of 5 per character, which is insane.
That's a lot, guys. That's a whole heap load. And they're not that expensive either.
They're not. I bought them all.
Mr. Moneybags over here. All right.
And I bought them all.
Mr. 3090.
I've been waiting. I'd like to build. It's helpful in my case to just have event camps set up as opposed to have to tear stuff down. But the other really cool addition is the shelter that was added, which is a cave/mine. And this one has a really cool backstory. If you're in the Bethesda Discord, which I highly recommend you join, Bethesda staff and developers are in there and actually talk to the community, and they can answer some questions and they obviously can't answer others. But 2 people that are really active in there is Bethesda Carl and Bethesda Steve, who sounds like they should have their own like buddy sitcom.
Yeah.
So Bethesda Carl and Steve doing the good work. So Bethesda Steve was talking a little bit about the creation of that shelter. And originally, like has been the case, normally when they create these spaces, the art department will kind of design and kind of pre-build them and fill them in quite a bit. This shelter originally was supposed to have a lot more tunnels and levels, lighting and that kind of thing. So Steve started paying attention to what a lot of the camp builders are doing. He took a look at my BioShock camp and other camps that have been created, where it seemed like the majority of us really into camp building spend most of our time to reinvent the space so it doesn't look like a vault. So that kind of clued them in that we're looking for spaces that are flatter, where there isn't pre-done lighting, or even where you can turn lights off, and just a lot of room to build in. So he really pushed hard for that to happen. So this was kind of a cool test case. And from all of the feedback that I've been seeing, everyone loves this design. It's practically 5 stories high, so you can build like a 5-story building in there. The space is just gigantic. It's flat. You can sink concrete foundations in there. I used it to build onto my BioShock camp, and it is by far the most fun and flexible shelter that they have ever added. And I really hope they keep going in that direction to just give us kind of a base theme that's a sandbox, and then we just kind of fill it in ourselves.
Doing the Lord's work.
Yeah, I thought that was a really cool story.
Well, and that was kind of
awesome.
the impetus for the Vault DLC for 4.
Yes, that was
all that was a big cave.
Yeah, he specifically in the meeting, he said that he went back and they were reviewing that DLC and how that did, to also kind of inspire that space. Yeah, so it's awesome that they pay attention to the community like that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But
yeah,
you said
I'm in agreement
before the show. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
I was just gonna say I'm in agreement that I find those kinds of spaces more. It gives you more freedom, right?
Yeah.
Like if you get something that's a vault, then you either design a vault or you try to force it to be something else.
Right.
If you get something that's kind of a an open-ended thing, then you can make it your own thing.
Right. Yeah, it's a really cool space. I think and there are more shelters coming. There's a bunch of different named variants that the data miners had. Like there's a lagoon, there's bunkers. It's gonna be really cool to see what they. I did suggest heavily that we would absolutely love a 1950s appropriate kind of survivalist bunker. The one that's beneath the orchard that has like a bar and a swimming pool. I would love that. Just like a cool bunker with a swimming pool in it.
Yeah.
Or just my basement. Just like, let's go down there. Let's do like some 3D scans of the basement. Let's get some,
If
LiDAR
everyone
utility
wants
tech.
Dave's basement as a 1400 Atom add-on, the Atom Store, we need to write into Bethesda immediately. Hashtag,
Hey, it's gonna
hashtag
be-
free Dave's basement.
Free Dave's basement. There it is.
It's gonna be. I mean, that's West Virginia specific. That could be an in-universe thing.
Mm-hmm.
It's what? It's not that big. Like you're looking at maybe the size, like a little bit smaller than that initial shelter you get. The only thing though is that they need to make sure that they remember that some of the stairs I had to replace because when the ADT man installed the security, he broke one of the stairs and fell all the way down and told me that he could either call to replace the stairs or just give me a bunch of free ADT stuff instead. And I said, give me the free ADT stuff. So I had to repair the stairs myself. So just remember that detail. You'll be fine.
Cool.
If you have Fallout first, you get a free Dave that does Dave action in your shelter.
Dave walks around your shelter, just kind of like
Just does impressions.
just kind of noodling around, and every time you walk past him, he does like one of his impressions, and he's like, "Hey, it's Danny DeVito."
You can find Dave in the
That's
corner
all
of
he
the
says.
basement, walking in place against the wall.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it's not malfunction. That's just how he's programmed
what
to
Dave
move.
does.
That's just what Dave does. Yep. He trips and falls down the stairs and goes, "Oh, I guess I need to fix those stairs again."
Yeah, but I'll just say I'll just have one line and I'll just repeat it like over and over so that I just become like that person, that character that's like nose in the corner.
Tripping down these stairs.
Then you
make me
can start
wish for
making a
nuclear
creepy
winter.
pasta about it.
Nice day, isn't it? Nice day.
Nice day, isn't it?
Yeah.
Nice day, isn't it?
Yeah.
Dave Hedrum.
Yeah. Or he says a quote that isn't even from Fallout. Like, I was an adventurer like you until I got an arrow in the knee.
I am the last Cylon. What?
What?
Thanks, Miranda. I should go.
Did you see that they put in a stoplight down at the intersection? Just different Dave phrase.
Or he's like really skittish, and every time you walk past him, you surprise him, and he goes, "Oh, I soiled my pants again." And you're just like, "Oh, okay."
Pretty specific.
Still my pants again.
That's it.
Pants and Dave down in
Yeah.
the basement being Poo Pants and Dave. Get yourself
Poo Pants
1,400
Dave.
atoms to get the basement with Poo Pants and Dave.
That's great. Do we have anything else to cover about the update without spoiling anything?
Yeah, because I haven't played it. I'm gonna start playing it this weekend though, so I'm really excited to.
Well, that's good.
Okay, and
You're
that's
too
your
busy
famous
building
last
stuff.
words, Ken.
I've been. That's all I did last weekend was build.
Yeah. I don't know how you get the time. You create so many things. I'm just like, I don't know how you do. Like, people are like, how do you get everything done, Tom? And I'm like, how does Ken get everything done? Holy crap.
I always have a really specific vision in my mind, so I don't waste a lot of time trying to figure out what to do. I just do it.
Just
Wow.
do it.
Just do it.
Have a
Just
I
do
have a
it.
specific vision in my mind, and I don't think about what I have to do. It just appears on the
It
page.
just appears on the page.
Stop cyberbullying me, live
Oh.
action Dave.
I throw my paintbrush around, and the picture appears to me, and I just put it on the page.
The vision is in my mind well before I ever see the canvas. Good. Well, that's
You can
great-
also
great
add
for you,
my
Ken.
basement where I just walk around saying shit like that.
I don't have a basement
Everyone-
because Floridians can't have basements
You can
because the water
you,
table's too
Well, you
high.
You can buy Dave's backyard inexplicably underground in a C note.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I want is
That's-
like a moon base. Can we get like a vault that goes into a moon base?
Just a random space station.
Yeah, it's just like you're just on the moon all of a sudden.
Make it the red rocket, you know.
Yeah.
rocket.
Yeah, you
and
get
then
in a
click on
rocket
that.
and there's a little blast off animation, and then you get out and all of a sudden you're like on the moon.
But then here's the thing: then you can't leave, and no one can leave, and then everybody's just stuck there, and they can't like fast travel, and they can't do anything.
And
And you
that's,
can't
moon.
scream because no one can hear you in space.
and that's how Fallout 76 ends. Not with a whisper.
Thanks for joining us,
but a
everybody.
scream.
That's the end. We should just cut it. That's the end of the show. Well, why don't we wrap it up? Because I think we've hit the end here. Guys, do you have anything else going on that you want to share before we head out? Dave, you got
Yeah.
any cool new
Yeah.
projects? Anything?
The podcast that was formerly known as Vault Boys, we felt like that number one, since we don't talk about Fallout anymore, we should probably change that name. Because this is pretty specific. So we changed it. 6 Ways to Sunday, which is every Wednesday, where we cover like weird positive news stories. Last week we figured out that there was a horse that was the tallest horse in the world that stood essentially the size of I think 2 refrigerators, like stacked on top of each other, and his name was Big Jake. Big Jake. His name was Big Jake. So that's going on.
It's pretty tall. Like the back is that high or the head is that high?
The head is that high.
That's
True,
insane.
true. Yeah.
That's a big horse.
He died though. That's
many
also the
hands
sad
is
thing.
that?
Wow.
Oh.
All of
Many
our
hands.
stories are ending on a downer today.
Oh, but then we learned that apparently there was the smallest horse in the world, which is still alive. Her name is Thumbelina.
Oh.
Thumbelina looks like a dachshund. And they took a picture of them beside each other. And it's just funny.
Bon
It's
appetit,
just
horse.
funny. But Big Jake, he's dead.
Big
Which
Jake.
is sad.
Well, cool. So 6 ways
But
to
that's every
Sunday
Wednesday
on
at 5
Wednesdays.
p.m.
It's not 6
Yeah.
6 ways to Wednesday.
6 Ways to Sunday is on Wednesday, and that's how it is. Because when you
Cool.
think about it, there are 6 ways to Sunday, including Wednesdays at 5 p.m., but also on podcast services
Every day.
every day.
Every day. You can only download them on Wednesdays on podcast services.
No, you can only down them on Tuesdays, which is I know the Sunday thing and then the Wednesday thing. It's like a mess.
Oh no. Ken, you got anything going on? You got any new stuff?
Well, Dave, I will be in my shelter creating yet another artistic, ingenious creation. Crafted from largesse.
To make this face right here.
An inspiration.
I don't know how this works. Like that. I don't know how my cheeks do that.
I think they're dimples, aren't they, Tom?
I guess I
think
don't
you
have.
dimples.
I don't think I have dimples.
I think
Do it again. You
isn't
have
that-
them.
Yeah,
do it
that's-
again. Do it again.
His dimples. How merry.
Wow. Tom, you're so cute. Keep on doing you. We're talking about Ken though. Ken.
I have been taking a voice acting class with Wes Johnson, which has been a lot of fun. And if anybody's looking to get into podcasting or voice acting or just acting in general, the class is really great. Anytime Wes goes into character, any of the characters from Skyrim or Fallout, it is just hilarious. I've been getting a lot out of it, and it ends in a few weeks. It's hilarious. So I've been busy with that. And then we have another episode of the show, which is Cryptid Creeps Part 2, which saw the premiere of Dave's character finally on the show as we hunted down cryptids. So I'll be dropping that episode hopefully this weekend, if not the middle part of next week. And beyond that, there's been something else that Tom and I have been working on that we can talk about next month.
Yes. But we can't yet. So sorry, everybody.
Nope.
We are legally bound to silence and other kinds of bindings.
And this
That's
is
a
the
different
sound of
thing.
silence.
The sound of silence.
Yes.
So I've got well, Dave and I are actually working on something else potentially too. right, Dave?
Potentially, there's something going on.
Oh.
We still need to. We're doing something. We're doing it. Whatever you think it is, it is. That's. I need to have a conversation. I need to take a conversation with you offline. We're online now. I need to talk to you later, man.
Yeah, that's what we'll
about
do.
The situation.
Don't you forget
man.
But yeah, we got something coming up, and potentially we're in the research phase, and we will reveal more about that in the future. I also have, and since the last time we've done one of these shows, or at least since I've been on, because I wasn't able to be on the previous one. I've launched the Witcher Lorecast. So if you love the Witcher series, there was WitcherCon last weekend. There's season 2 of the TV show coming out in December 17th, I believe, which is freaking awesome. There's a mobile game coming out. So we've also launched a Witcher Lorecast, and we're about 3 episodes in. And we're going over like the origin of the Witchers and all that stuff that happens on Mondays. It's available everywhere. Also on Mondays, I launched another show with Sam and Seven Legend, who I do the Mass Effect Lorecast with. And this show is called the Xbox Game Pass Show, because Xbox Game Pass is freaking awesome. And Microsoft and Bethesda working together. Some people are playing Fallout 76 on their Xboxes, on the Xbox Game Pass, or on their PCs, or on their freaking phones. You can actually stream it to your phone, which is nuts. So we were like, you know what? Let's do a show where we could talk about like what's coming and going from the Game Pass. And then we try out a lot of the new games every week, and we tell you, obviously we can't play through every game and give you a complete review, but we give you first impressions on some of the games and if they're worth picking up and trying or not. So, and with that, we have a community that's blossoming like a flower out of a rainstorm. Called the Game Pass Gang. And so if you're looking for other people to play games with, including Fallout 76 or whatever, and you happen to play on Xbox or PC, and even if you don't have Game Pass, you can join our Game Pass Gang on the Robots Radio Discord.
Whenever there's trouble.
Hey, have you talked about Yakuza yet? Have you talked about that?
No. Well, a little bit.
Okay.
A little bit. But
okay. Well, here.
Yeah. You want to come talk about Yakuza?
Yeah, no, you're not inviting me. I'm just telling you that
I'm freaking. Don't tell me what I can't do. I'm inviting you right now, mother friend. That's one replacement for the other F word.
What?
Yeah. Why don't you next Monday? Why don't you come? Why don't you come on by? Come on by Monday night, 10:30 p.m. Eastern. Talk about that Yakuza with us. I'm sure that was an insulting way to do an accent. Yeah. Is it Fast and Furious?
Yeah. It's all about family.
But is it faster than Furious?
Good. Yeah, that's a joke that just will not die. The whole Fast and Furious thing, ever since like the 90s when the first film came out, and I'm driving somewhere and somebody goes, like too fast past me, I look at whoever I'm riding in the car with and I go, that guy's fast and furious.
That's Tom, you didn't say spoilers.
Spoilers.
Because they got the big spoilers. And they got the big spoilers in the back there.
That's a good joke.
Mazda RX-7. They got that big old spoiler.
Yeah.
All
that joke is really revving me up.
Here come our 1-star reviews.
They're like, this show it should be just called The Pun Hub.
They barely even talk about Fallout. It's impressions of Jason Statham and Danny DeVito, and I don't even know what's going on half the time.
And bad puns. They're all boomers. You can clearly tell all of them are boomers. They have such boomer humor.
Their hats.
Oh my god.
Well, you know what? Boomers were at the airport and they helped me save all of New Vegas. So there. And
on that message, thank you for joining us, everybody. Thank you for being here live with us on twitch.tv/The Fallout Hub. It's good to see all of you guys chatting away as we talk and laughing at us, not with us. Thank you for being here, everybody. So we'll probably be back in 2 weeks?
2 weeks.
2 weeks.
That's about when we do.
That's about when we do. And Dave and I will probably do another Starfield Lorecast at some point, but we need a little bit more info to talk about.
Whatever. I mean, we had a whole trailer.
You had a lot to talk about, and there's been a lot of interviews with some more little nuggets, some little teases, some little Toddisms.
Yeah.
You should come on the Starfield Lorecast.
I would love to come on the Starfield Lorecast.
In fact, you know what? I am inviting you to an episode that we will do at no certain date. But you are invited.
You
Take
will
that.
be in
You
my
know what?
basement.
I'm having a cookout Friday at 5, and you are also invited.
Invited. Yeah, there you go. All right, everybody.
Show that won't end.
Thanks for tuning in. We'll see you guys in 2 weeks. Bye.
Bye.